Hi. Not so long ago I gave a talk on Zoom to a camera club, which I called From Film to Digital and Back Again, saying that I'd started with film cameras in the late 1970s and then moved on to digital cameras in about 2005, and recently I've gone back to using film cameras again for some of my work. When I started with film, I was doing a lot of music photography with 35mm film cameras, fairly simple ones like a Zenith E, and I was push processing the film because at that time the fastest speed I could get was ISO 400, and to get a decent shutter speed that would freeze action, I probably needed about 800 ISO. So some of those shots and the ones I'm showing now were push-processed film. I did a lot of press photography in that time and moved on eventually to using medium format film cameras for larger negatives. They were useful when my work was being reproduced in books and magazines and needed a higher quality resolution, if you like. Around 2005, I decided that digital was the way to go. And so I sold all my medium format cameras that I had by then, really nice ones that would cost an absolute fortune to rebuy these days, Pentax 6.7, Bronica, Mamiya. Some really expensive cameras. Basically, gave away a lot of my gear as well and moved on to digital and really didn't look back for a long time. It's only since lockdown that I decided to go back to using film, and someone asked me why I did that, what was the purpose of it. And my answer was that sometimes, I felt like I needed more to think about. So I was taking more time to expose the image using cameras that were quite antiquated. My recent pride and joy is Topcon Horseman 970. Quite cumbersome, very slow to use. Needs a handheld light meter, put all the settings in manually. Takes a lot of time to set up. And then of course the film has to be developed and then processing it in Lightroom, but it's still quite slow. What I discovered was a love of the process of photography that I'd had when I started, that I'd lost with digital. I just found digital a bit too quick and too easy and didn't need a lot of thinking about. It just felt like not much was happening at all. So when I was on my own, needing time to kill, I also needed to recapture the enthusiasm that I had when I was developing film, really in charge of the whole process, from the shooting to the development and then to the printing, which of course I would do now in software, but it's still almost the same thing. It takes a very long time. So what I want to impress on you is that there is a lot of stages to photography, whether you're using film cameras or digital cameras. For me, it's something that needs a lot of thought. At the exposure stage, thinking about your apertures and your shutter speeds and the depth of field. And then at the processing stage, whether you're using a tank with film or Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever it may be. I just wanted to say, slow down, think about what you're doing, rather than seeing the end product as something that happens quite quickly and almost magically. Be part of the process so that you are in every aspect of the process and you and all your thinking is in the finished product. Hope you found that food for thought, and if so, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video from Skellig Photography Workshops in beautiful Portmagee, County Kerry, Ireland.